Hey guys, it's Silver again. I am here to make a video about a very important issue in our society that relates to psychology and neurology that works well for everyone, and as opposed to these ideas that we currently have going around in communities that only work for some people or most people. This idea works for everyone in your life that you respect, and it's called the person centered approach. So, first of all, I'm going to start by saying that a lot of people want to believe that they respect everybody or that they respect everybody in their lives, but actually, it's not possible to fully respect everybody because we have different ideals, we have different beliefs, we have different ways we live our lives. And in diversity, that's why we have to have the people in our lives that can understand and respect. And there's a certain level of respect that we can have in humanity between everyone, but overall, complete respect for somebody is something that we don't have for everyone. In order for you to respect somebody, you have to first of all trust them. And that means that when they tell you something about their lives, you think they're telling the truth. In order for you to respect someone as an adult in that matter, that means that if someone tells you they are trying as hard as they can, you believe them. If someone tells you something doesn't work for them, you accept it. If you disagree with someone about their conclusions about their own life, then you do not respect them in that way. You can respect people in certain ways and not respect them in others, but we actually need some people in our lives that fully respect us. And the reason why we need that is because we need compassion. And compassion is this person centered approach. So that's what this video is about, the person centered approach. So compassion is also something that people want to believe that they have, that they want to believe they are a compassionate person. But there's really no way that you can just say, I am a compassionate person. Compassion is not about you. Compassion is about how you interact with someone else, and it's individual to each time you interact with someone else. Compassion is above pity, it's above empathy, it's above sympathy. Compassion is actually succeeding in a task of relieving someone. That doesn't mean that you have to relieve everything in their entire life, but you choose one aspect or one task or one thing, and you get to the end of that one thing. And when you actually succeed, you can say you had compassion in that situation. And that is the only time that you can say that. This is how it works in psychology. I've been studying complex post traumatic stress disorder for a very long time. And when it comes to trauma, we require compassion, which requires a community effort. It requires people outside of us to help us in order to heal our nervous systems in this way, which also affects our emotions, it affects our body, it affects everything. So, compassion is a necessity for us to survive. Compassion is the person centered approach. So, now I'm going to go to the person centered approach. The person centered approach derives from what is called the patient centered approach. The patient centered approach is a medical term used both in psychology and neurology, as well as in certain types of treatment and palliative care, in which a person needs to go into an extreme healing and do an extreme transformation in their life to where they cannot handle taking on any more responsibility because they are already taking on as much responsibility as they can, and they are already doing as much as they can within themselves to their ultimate limit, and they cannot have anything else extra put on to them, and instead they need their community to relieve them of responsibilities, help them accomplish goals, help them accomplish tasks, help them come to conclusions, help them come to closure, whatever it is. So Unfortunately, in a lot of psychological, sociological, and spiritual communities these days, there's sort of a uniform thought process. And I'm going to acknowledge that thought process because it's very valid. But I'm going to say that it is not the only thing. And it's becoming too uniform to the point where people that need to go through extreme transformations in their life, whether it's because they have extreme injury, disability, whether or not they have neurological problems or some other reason why they need to have an extreme transformation in their life, whether it's just a goal that they need to accomplish, it's going to be very difficult. Either way, um, those people, there are times when we are at our absolute limit, and there are some people who live most of their lives at their absolute limit. So this belief system that's in the sociological, psychological, and spiritual communities that is the most prevalent one right now is about self-care and boundaries, taking responsibility, um, that you are manifesting everything that happened to you, that you're responsible for everything that happened to you, and so on. And even though all those things are true, nothing is altruistic. So, if you respect someone, like I said earlier, then when that person says that they are already doing as much as they can, you will believe them. By saying that you think they could do more when they're telling you they're already doing as much as they can, you are disrespecting them, and you have to admit to yourself that you don't fully respect that person in those ways. So we all need people in our lives that respect us and trust us, fully respect us and trust us, so that they can give us compassion, so that we can say, I am at my limit. There's no more about this I can do, or I've already tried that and it didn't work, or that didn't work for me, or whatever it is, or this is my boundary. This is how this works for me. This is my conclusion on this based on my experience, and for people to trust it and accept it, even if it differs from whatever they've seen, whatever they've experienced, whatever. We need trust. We need respect. We need compassion. We need the person-centered approach. And the great thing about the person-centered approach is the person-centered approach works best for everyone. Unlike this other belief system that I am not invalidating in any way, that is all about self-care, boundaries, taking responsibility, and the fact that we're manifesting everything that's happening to us. Even though all of that stuff is true, it's not altruistic. Okay? So that's if you're always just making someone feel more responsible, then you're going to be adding more to their responsibility every time they talk to you, as opposed to relieving them of responsibility. So compassion is the act of making someone feel relieved, making them feel that they are not on their own, making them feel like they have a community, that they have people that will help them feel better, that will listen to them, that will accept their conclusions, someone having people in their lives that will help them accomplish goals, whatever it is. The point of the matter is that we all need compassion and this person-centered approach. Now, there are many ancient philosophies and spiritualities throughout the world, tribal and not, that have used the person-centered approach in order to heal people. Okay? So it's not something that isn't known to actually work. And the belief system earlier that I was talking about isn't altruistic, that I was talking about, that's just about placing more responsibility on somebody. That belief system does not include people who have neurological problems, nerve disorders, deep injuries, trauma, many different types of disabilities. And it doesn't even include people who need to be extremely focused on accomplishing large goals in their life in certain instances. That belief system does not include everyone. And even though that belief system is something that everyone needs to practice Everyone needs to take as much responsibility as they can. Everybody needs to try as hard as they can. Even though that's all true, we need to realize that we are creating our own reality and all that stuff. There comes a point when the nervous system is at its maximum and it's overloaded, and being told those things will only harm us, and being told to take more responsibility isn't possible. So if we actually respect someone, then we can accept their conclusions when they say, that doesn't work for me. I can't take any more responsibility. I'm already trying as hard as I can. And we can give them compassion, which focuses in on being focused on them as a person. It is the person centered approach. Just like I was saying, it's in medical terms, it's called the patient centered approach. So when you're talking to somebody, if you make it about your beliefs, you're not focusing on them. If you make it, if you make them feel like they are somehow in the wrong, that will not alleviate them. Therefore, it is not focused on them. If you make it about, if let's say they're talking about something that's a problem with someone that you know or someone that you're friends with, and you defend that other person, then you're not focused on them. If it's about how it offends your belief system, then it's not focused on them. If it, in other words, if you are conversating with someone who needs the person-centered approach, which actually does work best for everyone that you respect. In other words, the people who need to feel more responsibility and understand that they're manifesting everything and all of that other belief system, all of those people are someone that you respect less than someone that you give compassion to, because you think, okay, that person just needs to work harder. That person just needs to try harder. That person just needs to take more responsibility. That person just needs to focus on the fact that they're manifesting their own reality. And in all of those things, you are having a level of disrespect for them if that person is saying to you, I'm at my limit. I can't do any more. I'm already taking responsibility, and so on. So if somebody comes to you and says these things, you don't respect everyone, and you don't respect everyone equally, and you don't always have compassion. And that's okay. You don't have to respect everybody. You don't have to respect every aspect of somebody. You don't have to always have compassion. Those things are not even possible. But admit to yourself when you are saying, I don't trust this person as much. I don't respect what this person is saying as much, and realize that that isn't someone that you can give compassion to. So the level of caring that you're giving to them is a lower level of caring than compassion. You can only give compassion to people that you actually fully respect, like unconditional love, and that you believe when they are telling you their thoughts, their feelings, their conclusions, their truths, their experiences. You have to believe them in order to give them compassion. And the person-centered approach is compassion. And it's something that works for everyone that is a respectable person, that is someone that is taking responsibility for their reality. So it's also a necessity for people in many different struggling situations, as I said earlier. So the person-centered approach is something that is very rare, even though it's a necessity for survival for pretty close to 25 or more percent of the population. So please learn how to focus on someone when you are helping them, being there for them, not to dismiss them, not to tell them they're wrong about their experiences or conclusions, not to distrust them, and not to only give them advice which makes them feel like they need to take more responsibility, that they need to understand they're manifesting their reality, and make them feel like they can have some relief. Because if someone is coming to you and saying, I need help, that means that if this is someone that you respect and you want to give compassion to, you will help. And the very least amount of compassion you can have is coming to a conclusion in the conversation that makes them feel relieved. Help them seek support, help them seek help, help them find ways to come to conclusions in their reality that accomplish goals that requires that in which they can receive help for more than just themselves. Trust them when they say things don't work for them. Trust that their experiences really happened. Trust them. Okay? Trust them, respect them, which means that you believe that they are trying as hard as they can, that you believe them when they say that there's something that they can't do. See it from their perspective in their universe. Put your universe away, your thoughts, your feelings, and opinions go away, because you don't need to have those when you respect someone, when you're giving them compassion. That if you can just believe someone from where they're coming from an adult respectable position, then you can just give them the person-centered approach. And this means you won't be defending the people that hurt them, even if they're your friends. And you don't have to look at it like you're talking crap about those people, but you can let them have those feelings without making it be about the other people, without making it be about your experiences, your thoughts, your feelings, your conclusions, without making it about anyone else at all except for that person. And that is the person-centered approach that is a psychological and neurological requirement for many people to get through struggling situations and heal. Is very rare and is something that is compassion. Compassion is the person-centered approach, and it works best for everyone you respect. So I hope that everyone has learned what the person-centered approach is today. Thank you.